Welcome, everyone, to today's edition of our Fiduciary Fitness podcast. My name is Colin Clark, and I am pleased to be joined by my colleague, Elena Peerson. Welcome, Elena.
Hi, Colin. Thanks for having me.
So really, what we wanted to focus on for the next couple of segments is financial wellness. And my first question to you, you are our financial wellness guru, and I know you've been doing a lot of work, especially with a lot of our offices around the country about financial wellness. But what is financial wellness? So for folks that are listening to this, maybe they've heard about this concept, maybe they've heard it from their benefits brokers, their health and welfare folks, but from a financial standpoint, what is financial wellness? How would you define it?
Yeah, great question. So I would break that down into two different things. The concept of financial wellness, which is the ability to have control over not only your day-to-day finances, but also your ability to look forward towards the future and plan for the long term, is how I would define financial wellness and well-being, and feeling really good about that. And I would define financial wellness in terms of the workplace financial wellness, as a program or a benefit that is provided by an employer that seeks to establish that sense of financial wellness, that sense of financial well-being amongst their employees, so that they have that peace of mind, they have the ability to plan for their futures, and also feel really good about how they manage their income dollars on a monthly basis.
Okay, that all sounds really good and really fancy, right? But I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm the plan sponsor here, and I'm sitting there going, okay, that sounds great, but why should I care about my employees' financial wellness?
Great question. Well, employees, we've noticed, have been asking for benefits like these. With the rise of younger generations, we're increasingly seeing the newer workforce look to their employer for these financial resources, especially considering that more and more in schools, we aren't really teaching financial education. And especially in, increasingly diverse workforce, we are seeing that oftentimes people from diverse backgrounds, they might not have received that sort of financial education in their home. And so when we are doing recruiting, especially, this becomes a hot button topic, because people are looking not only to rise in their careers and advance in society, but they're also asking themselves, okay, well, how do I actually manage this newfound income? And so they are looking for those resources from an employee standpoint. But an employer might also want to care about this, because we have seen studies that show that financially unwell employees, they tend to have higher rates of employee absenteeism in the workforce. They actually have higher health benefit costs, because financial stress is the number one stressor of everyday Americans, and therefore the number one contributor to stress-related illnesses. And it also causes a loss of productivity. And what it's causing right now, Colin, is the Great Resignation. People are changing jobs because they don't feel oftentimes that they have a good control over their income. And so they believe that by getting a bump in pay, potentially, they might feel like they have greater control. That's often what we see, is people, when they don't feel like they have control of what they have today, they try to grow it, as opposed to maybe trying to work towards understanding exactly how to allocate their funds.
Well, I think that's fascinating to bring that up, because, watching, business news, paying attention to the financial markets, paying attention to our clients, I'm hearing a lot about the Great Resignation. And I just saw a commercial this morning about why benefits are so important and how you maximize your benefits. So I think it's becoming pervasive, this issue. And what I hear you saying is that if you help people engage in financial wellness, that will actually pay dividends, not only for recruitment and retention, but productivity. Is that fair?
Absolutely. It is a huge differentiator. More and more employees aren't just even looking at rise in income when they're changing jobs, but they are taking a very deep look into a prospective employer's benefits package, and they are looking for something that is going to be a differentiator to them.
There are tools at your disposal as a plan sponsor. And there are ways that you should be leveraging your consultants if you have a consultant or a financial advisor on your retirement plans. Elena, do you want to describe a little bit about what you see out in the marketplace and how you see our clients leveraging their current vendors' aspects of financial wellness?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, financial wellness is definitely one of these more trendy topics these days. And so we do see a lot of different vendors trying to define how they perceive and how they deliver financial wellness as a program. And so your record keeper for your retirement plan might have a financial wellness component on their platform, which could be anything from budgeting to student debt management to estate planning. We have seen a lot of those. I would say the most impactful way that we see financial wellness delivered is when there is also a human component associated with it. And what I mean by that is, I personally believe, and what we have seen is that it is absolutely invaluable to have both those on-demand resources available, a budgeting tool, an online learning program, a gamified experience, right? A way that somebody can measure how they're improving their knowledge and their score over time. But also, I cannot underestimate the value of having a human coach who actually can walk you through it. That motivation is absolutely critical. And what we find is if you just provide a product without creating a process, a human experience that encourages you along your path, that allows you to ask questions, employees might not improve quite so much. And so you always want somebody who is cheering you on, who's answering those questions. And that's something that we have invested a lot of research and a lot of time and effort into developing, is creating those financial coaches that are available to spend time with employees to make sure that they have a hand to hold on their retirement and on their financial wellness journeys.
So I do a lot of work in our office, as you well know, with all of our RFPs, whether they're advisor RFPs where we're bidding against competitors for a piece of business, or running for our own clients, are regular RFPs that we run to research vendors for both administration and record keeping. I'm seeing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm seeing that all the advisor RFPs are now focusing on financial wellness. And how important have you seen it become? Because I've seen it that when we're evaluating vendors with our own clients, the financial wellness programs that are available, because they're not all the same, are they?
They are absolutely not, because again, everybody kind of defines it differently. So they might allocate different resources towards financial wellness depending on what they believe are hot button issues for employees at the time. We are definitely seeing an emphasis on financial wellness. I love to see it, because if we didn't have an emphasis on financial wellness from our clients, I would probably be out of a job. And so very, very, very important. And we love seeing that, because that means that generally employers that are submitting those RFPs, they're in line with our values, which is holistic education. And so we are definitely evaluating record keepers to make sure that they have great financial wellness resources. And we always love to see RFPs from employers who are looking for it in their advisors as well. We find that very critical to our relationship.
And that's a great point, and it's a huge trend, and so we see that very distinctly. So even this morning, you and I were on a call with a client where we were mapping out the education strategy for the next 18, 24 months. Can you kind of describe that process and how we would work, that we're working with a client like that, where we're adding the human component in with working with their current vendor?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we are working with an employer on a retirement plan, and we are looking at, just their general service model, we do spend a lot of time each year with that employer, with that retirement plan committee, creating an employee engagement calendar that outlines exactly what we are going to do for those employees in that year.
So customized for the client.
Yes. So we customize the education calendar for each client. And then we also do our one-on-one specific days, as well as we always make sure that we have a calendar open for employees. One of the great things about the transition to virtual is that we have actually increased access with employees, because we have this online scheduling link that all employees have access to. And so they're constantly booking into our calendars. I had 3 meetings this morning with employees from a variety of organizations, just having questions from anywhere from the retirement plan to how do I think about repaying my student loans? They're still in deferment. Should I get ahead of them? Yes or no? So we do have a lot of those questions, and that is all part of our service model and part of that creating that education calendar.
Yeah, I really do enjoy doing those one-on-ones with folks. And I don't do nearly as many as you do, but constantly peppered every single day with the opportunity to do one-on-ones with folks, and you really get to understand where people are, and really understand the needs of employees at each of your client companies. Thanks again, Elena, for being here.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Colin.
That's going to do it for this week's show. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy our show, we'd love for you to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you access your podcasts. The opinions voiced in this program are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC. Investment advice offered through Global Retirement Partners, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Global Retirement Partners, Washington Financial Group, a division of Hub International Mid-Atlantic, and Hub International are not affiliated with LPL Financial. Global Retirement Partners, LPL Financial, Washington Financial Group, and Hub International are not affiliated in any way with the services offered by any guest on this show.
Poor Jeff, he's having to listen to this conversation. All right, hopefully Jeff can edit that, right?